Okay, alright guys. Now I just got the alternative belts to replace the longer belt to install into my power steering pump pulley and the crankshaft pulley. As you can see, it's not like completely install it on because I have to uninstall the alternator belts first. You see the alternator belt is inside, so I have to uninstall that first before I even install this power steering belt. But anyway, I don't necessarily have to do it that way, but it's just a better things to do, you know. Want to take care of the belt inside first, install that first, and then do the outside belts, which is the power steering. So I'm having a hard time taking out this alternator belt because the alternator is located in the back of the engine like this, and it's really hard to like even take out the belts because before I didn't install the alternator on when I finished rebuilding the engine. It was the street mechanic that does it, and when they install it on, um, I didn't see it, and I just I just took out the alternator when I rebuilt the engine. I took it out, but you know I didn't really put it back together. So taking it out is easier than install it back on, and they did having a hard time installing back on too because I remember he had to get down here and he did somehow. I mean, it was hard to install it back on because the alternator, when you install the alternator, they have the brackets like it's this black brackets right there. I don't think you guys can see it. It's right there, and the brackets has a idler bolt and another bolt that's holding the idler bolt. So it's like two bolts, one across this way and one across this way like that. And the bolt this way is just to hold the idler bolt. So right now I losing this bolt that's holding the idler bolt on the brackets, but it's not moving. My alternator is not moving. I need to uh somehow unscrew the idler bolt so it can move back and forth like this so I can change the belts, you know you know what I'm saying, because I need to move the idler bolts on the brackets so the alternator will move back and forth. When the alternator can move back and forth, which stretch and release the belts, then I can remove the belts. You see what I'm saying? So I have to do somehow to unstretch the belt on the alternator, like by moving it backward or forward or whatever. But uh, I have to loosen that um that adjustable bolt. Right there. See that bolt right there? I losing that after last night. I losing the other bolt over there, but nothing happened. The alternator is still hard like a rock. It won't move. Then I went to take a wrench and losing that bolt right there. And last night I was in the middle of moving it, but it's still hard. And it was raining. That's why I went into the house and wait until today to do it. So I don't know yet if my alternator gonna move so I can uninstall the belts out or not. I have to use a hammer or something to hammer it and pry it out, so it'll move back and forth so I can change the belt. So pretty much it's been hard for me to change this alternator belt because first of all, I didn't do it. I didn't install the alternator back in the day. The street mechanic did it. Second of all, I was just uninstall when I work on my engine, rebuild my engine, I just uninstall it. Like it's pretty easy to uninstall it. You just unbolt it out. Now to unbolt it out and take out the alternator, if I need to change the alternator, it's pretty easy. You see the alternator bracket right there? That's the under bracket for the alternator into the engine. And then you see that bolt right there? That's the big bolt. That's the actual bolt that when I unbolt that bolt, I can take out my alternator. That bolt right there, that's only if I'm going to replace the alternator. You see that? And it's a pretty long bolt too. But I don't need to uninstall that bolt right now because all I'm doing is I need to change the belt. And in order to change the belt, you need to mess around with the alternator adjustable bolt only. So it can wiggle and move up and down like this. So I can change the belt on the alternator. But that's about it on that part. I'm still working on it. And I'll update whenever I got that belt off. That's like a pretty hard belt to take it off. But like replacing this belt right here for the power steering, the new belt that I got with the alternator, this belt right here is shorter now. It's a shorter belt. But this belt right here is easier to do. You know, I already tried it on, and it's fit on perfectly. It's like I think it's like 18 or 19 inches long, like I measured, but it fit on, and I already got it on yesterday, but I just happened to get it, got it out the way so I can work on the alternator belt. I really don't want to cut the alternator belt because I'm gonna have to find out how to use the adjustable bolt to move the alternator. That way, that's the right way to do it instead of cutting it. If I cut it and then install the alternator belt on, it might not, comes on because it might be too narrow. The belt might be, the belt wouldn't come on because it's not stretched enough. Who knows? I don't know. I might cut the belt so that way it's easier for me to move the alternator so I can install the new belt on. But that's not the correct way to do it. As far as I remember, you have to uninstall the adjustable bolts on the alternator. Then you can move the belts out. Then it will relieve the belts, and that's the correct way to replace the alternator belts for this purpose. So yes, I'm still having I still have a hard time trying to remove adjustable bolts. And if I have no space here, I have to uninstall all this out the way. So I have my hand up into on the alternator and the brackets, so I can move it out the way. But anyway, just the update of what I'm doing now. Um, uh, Replacing the alternator belts and the power steering belts. Alright guys, it's like raining, so like this whole day today I couldn't do anything either because like the weather is like raining. Like it's like drizzling right now. You see that? It's drizzling, so I can't really do much today either but hang around in the house. But I'm gonna try to get down there or somehow to do this. I have to put my hat on too, so I don't want my hair to get wet. Like I say, um, have all this thing going on with me, with my stitches on the head. All right, guys, I'll cut the video for now.